Welcome to the 6th Compilation Celebration. In this video, we will review 57 paranormal clips that were analyzed. Let's get into them. If you go on to enjoy this video, please subscribe. And please hit that bell icon so you're notified of each upload. And it helps my channel if you'll hit the like button too. If you're interested in watching the previous compilation videos, you can find them in the playlist. These cover the first 50 episodes, and it is a compilation of all my analysis. What is causing this shadow in the dark? As we watch this door, we'll start to see shadows going across the ceiling and then across the door. Is this a haunting or is it trickery? It continues to happen even when the camera angle is changed. He then shows us the room with the light on. What source do you see that could cause those shadows? Could the shadows have been created by having a towel over that TV? What do you think on this one? Real or a trick? For me, knowing that TV is at the perfect angle and all you have to do is drape a cloth over it to create these type of shadow effects as the screen changes, I'm thinking it's not real. What's moving these blinds? As we watch, the blinds start moving on their own. Is the paranormal moving them? Is Mother Nature moving them? Is there someone on the other side of that window moving them? We will never know because the camera operator did not try to investigate, so I don't think they are a paranormal investigator. I think it's just a hobby to go into abandoned buildings and get themselves spooked, but they're not really there to investigate the paranormal. Does this paper need a weight? As we watch this video, the paper starts to move. Is someone on the other side of the counter just messing with it? I notice that the corner is hanging off the edge. Many hotels are haunted, so I do believe there's the possibility of this happening in any hotel. But the movement is too suspicious to me, and it's too easy to recreate. Whose face is in the window? As this young man vlogs, he passes by a door with a window in it, and we can see a face staring back at him. Is it a living person on the other side of that door, playing a prank? Is it simply smudges on the glass that creates an optical illusion? This individual doesn't have a paranormal channel. Most of his videos are just about nature. So unless someone is playing a prank on him, this clip might actually be real. He has a 47-second video on his channel that you can watch. I've attached the info card above so you can go directly to that video. Is this shadow stalking this restaurant? As we watch, all of a sudden, a shadow appears in the lower left-hand corner and starts moving towards the doorway. Is this a ghost? Is it a shadow from somebody outside? Most likely, once again, it's a bug on a lens. Bugs are creepy and they'll move in creepy ways, but it's still just a bug. And it's just too close to the camera for the camera to focus on it. Is this activity caused by a poltergeist? As we watch, the TV starts shaking. Is there an earthquake? Is someone stomping on the floor? Is there some type of rigging that's causing this? Is someone behind the TV? I think the answers are no to all of the questions I've already asked, and now we see it's happening when the TV is on as well. And we don't see any rigging, we don't see anybody behind there. So what do we think? Real? He's waving his arms over the TV to show there's no strings attached. And now he's going to show us underneath the TV to show that there's no strings or no holes or anything in that cabinet to rig this to move. So I totally appreciate the effort on trying to show us that there's nothing rigged. But you also showed us you've done nothing to try and stop this from happening too. Double-sided tape, clamps, anything to prevent that from wobbling like that. And the fact that you're not concerned about a TV falling and breaking stands out to me as well. So I think potentially it's a hoax, but I'm not sure how he did it. What do you think on this one? Is this real paranormal activity or is it a hoax? Is this a ghost? At the bottom of our screen, we will start to see a white misty figure crossing back and forth. Is it a spider web? Is it a string? Is it a ghost? Most likely this is the top of a bug. It's their antenna or feelers or whatever they're called that allows them to sense their environment, and I think that's all we're looking at. Is this the ghost of Michael Jackson? This is inside of Michael Jackson's home, Neverland, and at the end of the hallway, it looks like they captured a ghost walking by. Was that Michael Jackson's ghost? There's a good chance that that's simply a shadow from somebody walking outside. This was a live broadcast. Did the producers decide to add some flair to the live broadcast? Is that an impersonator that walked by the windows on the outside? But Michael Jackson loved that house, so maybe he is there. What is causing this door to open and close? The refrigerator door opens suddenly and violently. What caused that? In the upper right-hand corner, you can see there is a camera inside of the refrigerator. It opened so fast and hard that it bounced off that wall and closed again, but would that momentum allow it to open again? Even though there's not a traditional door handle, a string could still be attached to that door to yank it open like that. And the yanking open fast would have caused it to close, but then the reopen could be done again by the string. What caused this barrel to fall? As this man looks for a noise in the attic, the barrel falls. hitting the broom. After the man runs out of the room, he turns off the light, but something still moves inside the attic. What is happening? Nothing else moves before the barrel, and then things only move because he runs out of the room. The camera in the attic just is suspicious to me, and the angle that it's pointing at, like he knew everything was going to happen in that direction. So I'm not convinced this is real. It might be staged, but paranormal activity can look like this. What do you think? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this a poltergeist? We will see the closet door suddenly open. Then it will open even wider. Then the paper towels on the table suddenly fly onto the couch. Who or what is doing this? So now we will see a couple of dogs, and they seem to be reacting to somebody behind the camera. Is that their owner? And the closet door closes. So somebody could be sitting inside the closet and just opens up the door and just pushes it out. And since we can't see the bottom of the door, there's probably something that allows them to pull it back in. The paper towels are dangling off the table, so someone could stick their finger in there and just flip that whole roll. And dogs can be trained. The dog doesn't go over and sniff at the open door. The dog is just constantly looking at somebody off camera. Is this a stalker? And are they living or dead? As this lady comes through the door, everybody's surprised because there's something behind her. Look behind her on her left side. As the camera gets closer, that figure backs away. It just looks to me like a person has squatted down on the other side of that corner and then pulled back when the camera got closer. So I don't know if this is a prank or a hoax or what, but I'm not convinced it's real other than her reaction. What was caught on this camera? As we look at this office, suddenly through the doors on the left, we will see something cross in front of the cameras. What is it? Is it a bug? Is it a human? Is it an alien? Is it a ghost? Normally I always call these bugs, but in this case I think it's a camera glitch. Sometimes with stationary cameras, they don't register that the picture has changed. So they don't pick it up in full pixelation and then transfer that to the computer as data. So I think it's called a data mosh, I'm not sure. But it's definitely a camera glitch. What is going on with this freaky freezer?
Freezers better not.
So you heard the banging on the freezer door and the employees talking about it. Then at 9:02, the door flies open. They go inside with the camera, they turn on the lights, they look around. They don't see anybody in this freezer. I have to say, I would love to see this for myself. I'm guessing that door has to be at least 100 pounds, so there's a lot of force pushing it open. Was it a lake that kicked it open and the plastic kept us from seeing it? Is someone hiding on the floor on the right side or the left side? Or is it paranormal? Who or what is moving this tricycle? As we watch this footage, we see this tricycle start rolling towards the camera. Is the space uneven and slants downward? What stops it and causes it to fall over? So once the tire gets in between the two rolls of carpet, it catches on the carpet's edge and tips over. So we know why it fell, but what caused it to start rolling? I think our choices are sloped, staged, straying, or real paranormal, and I'm not sure which. An extra out of place? During the making of this music video, someone can be seen in the background. Who or what are they? Is it just is it just a fan that crashed the music video? Is it an employee? Is it a promotional gimmick? Or is it a ghost? Maybe it's all of the above. A fan that's an employee who wants to help promote the video, but is dead. Is this a ghost playing this piano? Young men are exploring this old church when a figure sits down and starts playing at the piano. They thought they were alone, so they ran for their lives. So is this staged? Is this a movie? Is it a real haunting? I kind of feel like this might be staged because that guy that's sitting at the piano kind of looks about their age and he's just wearing a blanket over his head. Of course, the footage is blurry and poor quality. I can't tell for sure, but I doubt it's real. Did this car's camera catch a ghost? So cameras are being installed in cars, mostly for backing up, but some cars have them for what's in front of you. This car is facing the garage, and the person is inside their car, and it says that there's somebody at the front passenger side, but there appears to be nobody there. This is one of those times where recording on your phone makes absolute sense. Because if you go to the dealership and just tell them this happened, they probably wouldn't believe you. Or they would have blown you off as whatever. I don't know enough about this technology to know if it's real or not. So the obvious question is this just a technology glitch? A camera glitch? Or is it a hoax and somebody just ducked down in front of the bumper? Was there enough time for somebody to duck down in front of the bumper? They also had to get down fast enough and low enough to avoid being silhouetted by the headlights. Camera technology keeps advancing. Maybe this actually caught a ghost. Is this a shadow person? So when this gentleman clicks on the light bulb, all of a sudden you can see a shadow person. Did this guy capture a shadow person? Is this an optical illusion? Is this a hoax? Is it clothing or furniture? Because he's going between light and dark, I think the camera shutter isn't quick enough. And this is just simply a shutter speed camera glitch. Is this place haunted? As this gentleman is streaming his video games, behind him the door opens, and then it suddenly closes, startling him. Now it's my understanding he is house sitting, and he is alone. So who or what caused that door to open, and then violently slam shut? We can see his chat behind him recognize that there was an issue with the door. Is it a prank and he's not alone? His reaction is pretty legit. Now we look at the other doorway and the light comes on. Who or what caused that light to turn on? He decides to set the cat down and go investigate to figure out what's going on. He doesn't see anybody, so he turns the light off. He's actually looking up at the ceiling light to try and figure out if there's some type of a malfunction with the ceiling light. I didn't see the original stream to see if he actually went back into that space to see if there was anybody there or not. He turns off the light, and as he's going to go back to the couch, he notices the door on the other side opens. Now he's returned to the couch and to his stream. He's looking at the camera and he sees behind him the box move before he turns and looks and is jolted out of his seat. And I notice that that box is being pulled in the direction of that open doorway. And you know my rule of thumb, if too much activity is happening, it's probably not real, it's probably staged. I feel like this is a prank or a hoax. I just don't know if this guy is in on it or not. The small muscle twitches that happens when he's reacting are very difficult to act out. So I may have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Watch his left hand and how it spasms. I do believe he's probably reacting and not acting. However, this is a great way to boost viewers while you're streaming. Are these dolls possessed? As these girls hold on to their dolls, all of a sudden, the heads of the dolls turn and face them. Both girls immediately freak out and jump and throw the dolls down, which I would have done too. The doll on the left moves her head around slowly. The doll on the right moves it very quickly. The girls are talking to somebody that's holding the camera, so there is at least one other person in the room. The heads of these type of dolls typically are hollow. Was a mechanical device inserted into the heads to get the heads to turn? Is the delay of the second doll turning its head based on moving your finger to the other button? So was this remoted or possession? I think hoax and the girls were the victim. Put your thoughts in the comments below. Is this a ghost still working? As the camera is pointed through glass into a classroom, it appears somebody is sitting there at the desk working on that computer. Translation: really grainy footage of a person actually working, not a ghost. I'm always amazed at what's being passed off as paranormal. When you're shooting through a pane of glass, and you're standing back from that glass, which allows for all the reflections, and the type of glass can cause distortion, you will get a ghostly distortion every time. What is causing these bar shadows? When somebody opens the door to go downstairs, the downstairs cameras have a shadow go across them. What caused the lights to appear to have gone out and then create distorted shadows? Is it normal at this location for the lights to stagger back on, creating a shutter speed issue? The upper left camera has a shadow walking towards the bar. In the upper left corner camera, it looks like someone is walking. In the upper right, you can see someone moving, similar to the left camera. These cameras are supposedly downstairs, possibly in a basement. Are there windows that are going into this bar that's creating all these shadows from people on the street? Is this just the normal stationary camera glitches where it doesn't pick up all the pixels? Or is it some type of shutter speed glitch or IR sensor glitch? This is intriguing footage, but I'm not sure that it's paranormal. Is someone stalking these kids? As this person jumps into this trampoline, it appears somebody is on the outside looking at them. Is this an optical illusion? Is it a real person? It looks like just as he was beginning to jump, whatever that was came out from underneath the trampoline. and moved away from it. So, was someone hiding under the trampoline and realized they might get hurt if they stayed under it? I don't think it's paranormal, but I do think someone was hiding under there, and that is creepy. Is this a ghost in the forest? As the camera pans around this forest, we will suddenly see them start to focus on some type of movement towards the right. What is moving? Is it just a bush? Is it the wind? Is it someone in a camouflage suit? Is it a cryptid? Is it a ghost? Is it a camera glitch? Is it a lens flare? Is it video distortion or a video effect? I tried stabilizing the video so it didn't bounce so much, but it really didn't help. And I'm not really sure on this one. I'm not convinced it's paranormal, but I just find it interesting that they've been watching it this whole time and then suddenly decide to run from it. What is this ghostly face? As we watch, we will see a face develop on the right hand side. Is it a ghost? Is it pareidolia? Is it a hoax? Is it a relative looking over him? Obviously, there's something there, and it is odd how it morphs into something looking like a face, but I think it might be an optical illusion and not paranormal. Did this car collide with a ghost? As these people are driving in a car, suddenly a figure will appear at the bottom of the screen. Is this a human or a ghost? The car hits it. They stop the car and get out to try and see if they can help the person. They look all around trying to find what they hit, who they hit, and they can't see anybody anywhere. They're confused, worried, and still in shock. But then something appears. A creepy head pops out from under the car. What is going on? Let's slow things down and rewatch these clips. So it looks like something is hit, slides up the windshield and over the roof of the car. So how does it end up under the car? Is this a doll? Look at how small that is. Is someone in the back seat and just yanked a doll out of the street in such a way that it caused that to slide up along the car? And we can see it's a low profile car. So wouldn't a doll fit better right there? I feel like this is one more of those foreign paranormal movies that's being passed off as real paranormal in the English speaking languages. There are three people, and one of the three people is not always on frame. Is the one off camera the one that pulled the string and also pushed this doll head out under the car? I have too many questions for this one. Is this a shadow person? As we watch a game, a shadowy figure appears on the field, running towards the players. Is this a ghost? Is this an optical illusion? Is this a camera glitch? Is this a light shadow anomaly? I'm not convinced it's paranormal. I feel like this is some sort of a glitch with the camera, or maybe it's some sort of a video effect editing trick. What do you think on this one? Is it real or is it something else? What is happening in this graveyard? This is the unedited footage of a camera on a tripod facing the gate, and it appears the gate starts to open, but something flashed on the screen. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at the door of the gate just slowly opening, and I freeze frame the image that popped up on the screen. What is going on? Now the gate slowly starts closing. Well, let's look at that image again, shall we? I've actually done this with the Real Paranormal series on my channel, where I've taken a picture, reduced the opacity so that it's transparent. You can click on the card above to watch the video of editing tricks that I did that shows that stunt. So that is an editing trick. This could be anybody just opening and closing that gate, but because of the editing trick, I'm not convinced either part of this is real now. What is this hanging shadow? As this camera is pointed outside, a shadow is passing over that door. What is it? What is it from? What light source is projecting that image? It reminds me of fabric blowing in the wind, but I'm not sure where that fabric is at. I wish I had a better view of the space so I could see what could be causing that shadow. He will spin around, but he keeps the camera kind of low and towards the ground, which is an indicator to me that he's kind of keeping us from seeing the light source and what could be in front of that light source. And I still can't kind of figure out what that green strip is that appears to be hanging on that line. So even though this was streamed live, I can see how it could be staged. Is this skull possessed? These skull Halloween decorations are hanging on this fence. One of the skulls keeps turning and facing a different direction, and it's bothering the owner, so she fixes it again. You look at the other skulls, their mouths are all pointing down, whereas this one, the mouth is pointing up, and I think it's just the way it's sitting on that post that's causing it to spin, and it's just a gravitational thing, not a possession thing. Is this a poltergeist? As the camera is being used to record the security camera, we see a wet floor sign fall. And then we will see a bar stool be yanked into the middle of the room before it falls over. I don't know what the dark spot in the middle of that light reflection is. I wonder if they have a skylight in the roof that's creating that reflection, because I don't see the window to create that reflection. And of course the footage is very grainy, so we can't really see what's moving at the bottom center left, but it looks like there's movement there before the bar stool flips. Unfortunately, this is another one of those where it's so grainy it's hard to see what's happening. It seems like it's staged using strings, but I'd actually like to visit that place and just see how the light and shadows work in that space. Is this door possessed? While this live stream is happening, the door behind him starts closing by itself, and he really doesn't notice until he hears the door click. The streamer gets up and looks on the other side of the door to try and figure out what's going on and why the door closed. I do not know if this streamer has pets or lives alone, so I don't know if somebody's pulled a prank on him, but the way he's acting is he's acting like he's expecting to be alone. But we don't get to see most of the space to know one way or another if there's any pets that might have accidentally closed the door. It appears while he steps out to look around, the door opens again and then it closes again, and then he comes back into the room. This could be staged, but I think it's real. What do you think on this one? Is this shadow stalking this little girl? In the distance, we can see what appears to be a shadow, but as this little girl passes that tree, it looked like something was there. The father tells his daughter, "There's something behind you." So she looks behind her. So we can see a shadowy mass behind her, but then it looks like it turns and moves towards the right side of the screen. Then as she passes this tree, it looks like something's behind her again. You can kind of see it peeking out there like a couple of legs, but then it retreats. If this was a real situation, that parent would be freaked out and get their child away from this situation, which tells me that this is either staged or it's video effects or both. Are these eyes lying? As the camera is pointing towards the window, suddenly we will see a pair of eyes peek over the windowsill. What are these eyes doing? What do they belong to? A second set of eyes appear. What animal is doing this? Whatever it is, it's definitely predatory because the eyes are on the front of the face and not the sides of a face like a prey animal. And this has to be a mid-sized animal due to how far apart the eyes are. I'm not convinced it's paranormal. It could actually be a reflection and the eyes are actually inside of the room, not outside of the room. If this was something where the person actually thought their life was in danger, they would call the cops. They wouldn't be just recording it. I'm just not convinced it's paranormal. What is this disembodied torso? Suddenly, a disembodied torso can be seen. Is this a ghost? I can't do it, sorry. I don't know why camera glitches like this are being passed off as paranormal. If you want to understand this type of camera glitch better, go watch Corridor Crew's debunking video. You can type in YouTube search engine Corridor Crew debunk. It'll bring up their playlist where they have debunked several different UFOs, creatures, etc. Their videos are not boring at all. They're really funny and well explained. Were these candles blown out by a ghost? Before this lady has a chance to blow out her candles, they are blown out, apparently by themselves. What happened? How did that happen? Are these trick candles? It looked like she was starting to blow them out, but then she stopped to say something. I thought for a second there maybe she snorted when she laughed and that caused it, but then I realized that when you snort, you're kind of inhaling, not exhaling. Is it possible she exhaled air from her nose? If there was an air vent or some sort of fan directly above her, it would have moved the flowers, her hair, and the balloons. None of those things are moving. Now, magicians can blow in such a way that we couldn't tell. Is she a magician? It appears that they are blowing in the direction of coming from her, so it's some type of trick being done by her, or the candles are trick candles, or it's a ghost. What do you guys think on this one? Where did the torso go? On the right hand side, we'll see just legs running with no upper body. So this could be a camera glitch, but it could also be some type of a puppet being managed from an upper story. The legs just seem so thin that that's why I'm wondering if it's a puppet. Either way, it's not real paranormal. Most likely it is a camera glitch, but it's just the fact that the leg span is not very wide, and that's why I'm wondering if it's a puppet. We have one step that's fairly wide right here, but all the others are like barely clearing the previous step before the foot's on the ground. So it's just an odd way for the average person to run. Now, obviously, if the ground is uneven, we will all change our footsteps to accommodate an uneven ground to keep our balance. So that could be what's contributing to this odd run. But either way, it's not paranormal. Is this gate possessed? Suddenly, this gate starts to open, seemingly by itself. Is it a faulty latch, and the gate was not latched correctly? Is it simply gravity that caused this gate to open? Did the wind cause this gate to open? I don't think it's wind because the plants that are in the center of the screen, their leaves would have moved if it was wind. Without being able to examine the latch or the gate, I don't know if it's a latch or gravity issue. I see that there's some type of flicker with the camera. So is the camera footage tampered with? The camera glitch issue happens twice. Once right here, and then again after it gets all the way over here. Do you see both of those glitches? So let's look frame to frame on this glitch. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. That was the first glitch and I didn't see really anything. Now the second one is a little weirder because it phases in and out of focus. So did someone cut the footage? Was a string being used? So I'm not sure what caused the two camera glitches. I don't think the camera's being turned off during those glitches because it doesn't seem to me that those glitches are stopping the movement of the gate. This might be real, but I can also see how it could be faked. Is this playground haunted? It looks like an invisible person is working out on this gym set. This is a cell phone camera, not a security camera. Several young men witnessed this and filmed it, but were pretty freaked out by it and they left. Is this equipment malfunctioning? It's not the wind because the leaves on the trees are not blowing. I also think with this being metal, it would take a tornado or a hurricane to cause that. I think we would have heard it in the audio if it was wire or cable pulling it. I'm not sure on this one. I feel like there might be a scientific explanation for it or an equipment explanation for it. They could have used a rope and then edited out that rope. Are they using some type of motion tracking software? Are we seeing motion blur here? I'm not sure on this one. What do you think? Did a ghost steal this tricycle? Suddenly, a domino effect hits those mopeds, which caused the tricycle to just start rolling away. what caused the mopeds to fall. Even though this footage gives the appearance of going uphill, I think that's an optical illusion. I think it's actually going downhill. So is this a ghost, or is this just gravity? There is a person on the sidewalk. Did they have a string and pull the first one down? What about an earthquake? Did that occur? If this was an uphill slope, I would think that it might be paranormal. But as it is, I think it's just gravity. I'm not convinced it's paranormal. What do you think on this one? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this chair possessed? Again, we have a security camera that appears to have caught a chair moving in the middle of the room. It does not appear that anybody is in the room. The camera is at the back of the room with all the chairs having the back closest to us. And that chair moved backwards towards us. Obviously, this is possible to recreate just using string. And it doesn't matter if I slow it down or change the color or zoom in, it doesn't appear any other chair moves. So it is possible this is paranormal. Is this a poltergeist? As this employee is restocking the shelves with videos, the cart that he's been using suddenly rolls away in a jerky manner. Who or what caused that cart to roll away? Is it a ghost? Is it a prank or a hoax? Is it staged? Could this easily be recreated? Well, I would hide in the other row, tie a string to the cart, and just pull it. Is that what happened in this circumstance? As the employee goes to the other row, one of the videos falls. Was it carelessly placed and that's why it fell? So the employee picks it up and he puts it back on the shelf, and it looks like he's put it on the shelf fairly safely. So why does it fall again? So once again, he goes over and he picks it up and he puts it back on the shelf. He doesn't look around to see what could cause that to keep falling off the shelf. He doesn't examine the video to see if it's lopsided and that's what's causing it to fall. He just picks it up and puts it back. And then a different video falls. And then that video falls again. My rule of thumb is if there's too much activity, chances are it's staged. And the way that he doesn't even examine or look around tells me he's in on it. Is this a ghost on this road? As this car drives down this road, on the left-hand side, we can see something that looks like a small person. Is it human? Is it a ghost? Is it a video effect? To me, it looks like one of those very large clear plastic bags or clear plastic tarp, most likely blown onto the road via the wind. I'm not convinced it's paranormal, just trash. Is this a shadow person behind this lady? So as this lady is dancing for a TikTok video, it appears someone is behind her. Is it a shadow person? Is it a living person? Is it a stalker? Is this staged, choreographed, planned? It looks like the person's back is to us. Well, it's not a true shadow person because we can actually see the neckline and the hairline when we get to this clip here. They're not transparent, It may be CG or some type of video effect, but I'm not convinced it's paranormal. Freaky, yes, but paranormal, no. Is this ghost mad because dinner's not ready? Just about everything small that can be moved in this room starts flying around, and everything flies around towards blind spots in the room. Isn't it amazing how often we see objects moving just in a kitchen? So why do we always see objects moving in the kitchen? Simple, the kitchen has the most items that you can easily tie a string to them to get them to move. It's harder to find the safety pin to tie a string to in order to get blankets or pillows or any type of fabric to move. And there's a chance that that safety pin could be seen. So chances are you have about 3 people, one under the table, one on the right side, and then one on the left side. In order to get that knife to launch up into the air, chances are there's a hook on the ceiling or somebody's on a ladder off screen. So I don't know if all this was done for a movie, but that's the impression I get is they're trying to create some type of movie or this is from a movie. If we watch that blue towel that is draped on the stove, we notice it's never moving. Why not? It's probably the easiest thing for a ghost to be able to move. Simple, it's harder to hide the string with using any type of fabric, because the fabric would either bunch up or if you are using a safety pin, then that safety pin could be visible by the camera. So even though we don't see any of the strings, the other thing to note is some of this stuff is being pushed or moved and it's partially off camera or completely off camera when it starts to move. So some of these things could just be thrown by somebody. And you'll see if you watch my video that I did, you'll see me point out the string and show how easy that string is to be hidden. The other option they have is if any string does show up, they can just wipe it out in editing. I don't know why this entire video just gives me the impression that it's a bunch of teenage boys, but that's the impression I get. But it's not paranormal. Is this a ghost walking across this street? We will suddenly see a shadow person emerge and walk across the street. Is this real? Is it CG? This almost looks like one of those filmed at one time and then overlapped it with another footage. So I think that's what's going on here. Once without traffic and once with traffic. So I'll show you how in editing software we do overlapping. We take the base, which is the skull, then we're going to add the cat eyes to the skull. Then we add the established in 2022, and then we add the name. So that's how you can overlap. You can just pile everything onto here. And then with all of that, you can put it on the background of the trees. And that's just overlapping of still images. The same thing can be done with video images. Is this shop haunted or the items within it? Periodically throughout this shop, whether customers are in the shop or not, items will fall. Is it due to some type of vibration? Is it due to trickery? Is it due to sloppy placement of items or hanging up of items? Is it due to air vents? Or is it due to the paranormal? It could be all of the above. Even though string could be used or it could be sloppy placement, I think what's key to me is the fact that All of these items are falling on different days and different years. So I do think some of these might be accidental, but some may be paranormal. Is this doll possessed? The doll in the lower left corner suddenly tips forward. What caused it to move? Did somebody bang on the wall on the other side? Was it not placed on that shelf correctly, and that's what caused it to tip forward? Is there a string attached? Or is it a poltergeist? For me, this one is inconclusive. I don't see enough of the doll to be able to ascertain what caused it to fall. Who is this unwelcomed visitor? First, the door opens wide. Then, something on the floor is kicked towards the camera. All of this is happening while this couple sleeps. Then suddenly, this man's left arm is yanked up over his head in a weird manner, and then pulled behind him, which pulls him over onto his back. Once again, the arm is lifted towards the open door. Then just as suddenly, it's thrown back against him, causing him to sit up, but I'm not sure if he's awake yet or not. Then the man proceeds to lift his feet out of the bed and stand up, where he then just stands there, wobbly, and I don't believe he's awake. The video clip actually jumps from 3:17 to 3:45. There's another jump from 3:45 all the way to 4:02. His arm was only stretched out for a few seconds, as it was pulled out in that 3:45 mark and brought back in that 3:45 mark. He doesn't get out of bed until 4:02, and he stands there for a good 10 to 12 minutes. So his movements is just classic sleepwalking or sleep disturbances. So the door was already open a crack. If there's another door in the house that was opened, it's possible a vacuum occurred, which completed opening up that door. The object on the floor that gets kicked all the way towards the camera and very quickly, that's possibly a string. I'm not sure, but that would be the only thing that I would really label as possibly paranormal. However, I'm not sure why we even have a camera on this couple. I don't know if they're trying to purposely catch his sleep disturbances, any break-ins, or any type of paranormal activity. And I'm not going to mention the other reason why there'd be a camera in the bedroom. And children, don't ask. So I don't know on this one. I mean, it just comes across too staged for me. But again, they could just be trying to capture his sleep disorders and how freaky those are. I have never seen anybody sleepwalk, but the clips that I've seen of sleepwalkers, it is pretty freaky because they just wander around acting like a zombie. It's one of those things, the lights are on, but nobody's home. So I'm not convinced it's paranormal. What do you guys think on this one? Let me know in the comments below. Who or what is banging this door? While the lights flicker, a small door at the end of the hallway keeps opening and closing. Two security guards move down the hallway and decide to investigate this noise. The lights continue to flicker on and off, while the door continues to bang close every few seconds. When the guards get closer, the door suddenly stops. The lights quit flickering, and they turn off completely before being turned back on. The guard opens up the door, and we can see that it is too shallow for a human being to have been inside of it. So is this video for some sort of a movie? Is this staged? Is it hoaxed? Is it a prank? Or is it real? I don't think it's paranormal, but I don't know if these guys are in on this joke or if somebody else is hoaxing and pranking these guards. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how difficult it would be to actually rig that door to open and close like it's doing. I don't know if that light suddenly going off was them removing that device really quickly. I'm not convinced it's paranormal, but I'm not sure how they faked it either. I know I would have to drill a hole in the wall to have a string that would pull the door closed, and then I'd have to have another string that would pull the door open. But I also feel like some type of remote device could be used. I just don't know enough about remote devices to be able to set something like that up. Is this a ghost? On the right of the screen and in the middle of the screen, we will see a wispy, ghost-like appearance cross in front of the camera. Is this proof of the paranormal? What could this be? We are looking at a leg of a bug, and the fainter wispy type images that we're seeing, those are most likely the bug's antennas. They're smaller, they're moving more quickly, and they could give this illusion of blurred motion, but in actuality, it's just the bug. Because there's plenty of light in this room, an IR camera is not being used to pick up this bug. I'm going to show you a video where IR camera is being used, but you'll see that the length of the bug, or the leg of the bug rather, is almost the same, even if it's a different color. This is from my security cameras, and right there's the leg of a bug. It's possible they cut the video before you could tell it was a bug, so now you have a side-by-side comparison. Is this person living or dead? As the car travels down the road, on the right-hand side, we will see a human being standing there. Are they living or are they dead? Yes, this is a little bit creepy, but I'm not convinced it's paranormal. I know it may be strange to people who live in a city, but sometimes out in the country, people wait by the side of the road for a ride. And depending on what their job is, they could be waiting out there in the middle of the night. I don't know why this is being passed off as paranormal. Is this seance staged? As these people conduct a seance, suddenly the table starts moving. They all remove their hands from the table and start looking under the table. It does not appear that anybody's foot caused the table to move. Too many times I've watched seances and you could totally tell they were faked. I don't know if this one is or not. Let me know in the comments below if you've been a part of a seance like this and your table moved. Is this a ghost or a camera glitch? As the security camera is pointed down this hallway, we can see pixelized forms developing in the distance. Is this a ghost? Is this family being haunted? Most likely the light from the IR sensor doesn't reach that far, and that's why that person is looking broken up and mangled, pixelated. But it's a real person, not a ghost. Is this hospital haunted? When the camera pans to the right down this hallway, it looks like there's somebody in a doorway on the left-hand side. They turn back to look again and it's gone. So let's freeze frame the image right there. Do you see it? Is it a real person? Is it a shadow person? Is it an optical illusion? Let's see if zooming in helps. A little bit. Let's slow it down and zoom in. It looks like somebody's there. So now that we've determined something is definitely there, is this real, staged, fake, prank, hoaxed? I know hospitals tend to be haunted. The camera motion seems pretty natural, of just walking down the hallway, capturing this other hallway completely. So I don't really feel like the camera work is staged. It's possible this one is real. Please let me know in the comments if my analysis nailed it or failed it. The links for other social media platforms for this channel and for Jim is in the description below. Always be safe. It is free to subscribe. Please subscribe. There are many more videos you can watch, and you can click on the attached playlist card to see some of them. Thanks for watching Paranormal, True or False.